RMS Français avec Monsieur Elliott.
Bonjour. Salut. Ça va?
Regarde. Écoute. Parle. Écris. Learning destination. By the end of this lesson, you will recognize and be able to express the French words for the major parts of a story, as well as the title of our new story, The First Well. Essential question: how can cognates help me to learn stories in a new language? Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everybody. We are all set to start learning French through our first story. Now you may be wondering why we have chosen stories as our way to learn. Well, it's fun, it's effective, not to mention people have been learning through stories for thousands of years. Have you ever thought about the different parts that make up a story? And the parts that make up the parts? Well, stories are made of chapters, that are made of paragraphs, that are made of sentences, that are made of words, that are made of letters. That's going from biggest to smallest, or whole to parts. Let's take a minute now to look at something else going from smallest to biggest, or parts to whole. You see, language is just like your own heart. Just as atoms are the smallest part of your heart, letters are the smallest part of a story. When you correctly arrange the lines, you have good handwriting. When you correctly arrange the letters, you have good spelling. When you correctly arrange the words, you have good grammar. And when you correctly arrange the sentences, paragraphs, and chapters, you're a good writer. And just like with your heart, without the smallest, you can't have the biggest. So here you see the English word story and its parts under the American flag. Now, here's the French flag above the next column. Next, one by one, I'll show you the French words that correspond to the English words. Do you think you can guess where they go? It's easier than you think. Let's get started. Paragraphe. Chapitre. Lettre. Phrase. Mot. Histoire. Are you surprised by how similar many of these words are? You may also be surprised to learn that we get nearly 40% of our English words from French. Many of our words are spelled exactly the same or with just a few differences, like the ones I've underlined here. Now it's time for a comprehension check. When you see the light bulb flash followed by the pause, write, and play sign, it's an opportunity for you to pause the video and check your understanding. See if you can arrange the English words and French words in the right place. After you finish, play the video and check your answers. How did you do? I'll bet you did well. It would have been harder if we were using words from another language. Let me show you why. Cognates. We have more cognate words with French than with any other language. And this includes our word for title that comes from the French word titre. So here is the title of the first story we're going to learn from, The First Well. Now, I'm going to wait a bit before showing you the title in French. Why? Because when you're learning a new language, it's better to hear a new word before seeing it. You see, we share the same alphabet with French, and if you see the letters before hearing them, your brain will trick your ears into hearing the English sounds instead of the French ones. You probably noticed that when I showed you the French words for the story parts. Let me show you how this works in our sound lab. This purple area you see is our word zone. This is where we learn to sound out words before we see them spelled in French. Our first word will be the French word for the. Here you see this listen symbol, which means it's time to just listen, not repeat. This yellow line is what I call the sound line. It represents the whole word that we're learning. Le. Le. Here's the repeat symbol showing it's time to repeat after me. Le. 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 Great! Now it's time to see the word and then listen and repeat again. L. E. Le. Le. Great, now let's repeat the process for the word first in French. Premier. 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 You probably found that word, premier, harder than the word le. That's because it has more sounds in it. For these longer words, we're going to break them down into smaller parts using sound boxes. For this part, we listen and repeat for each sound. One more thing, when we use sound boxes, we work in reverse order. We work backwards. It may seem weird, but it works. Let's try it out. Ye. Ye. Mie. Mie. Ro. Ro. Romier. P. P. Pro. Premier. P. R. O. M. I. O. R. Ye. Ye. Mie. Ro. Ro. Romier. P. P. Pro. Premier. 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 Le premier. Le premier. Puis. 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 Oui. Oui. P. P. Puis. P. U. I. T. S. Puis. Puis. Le premier puits. Le premier puits. Quel est le titre de l'histoire? What is the title of the story? C'est le premier puits. It's the first well. This is how you abbreviate the word first in French. This is an example of using this abbreviation to express a date. Le 1er décembre. So here we are at the end of our first lesson. Congratulations on completing your first video. Watch as many times as you like until you have thoroughly mastered your learning goal. Au revoir.